So I used a electric grease gun, which is so much better than using a handheld. During the video, I talk a little bit about why I installed my wet bolts the way I did. I've installed a couple of them from inside out, a few of them from the outside in. I did that because it forces me to go underneath that rig on a regular basis and just inspect everything, to include my shocks, of course the running gear, my stabilizers, and the springs. So it forces you to do that, even though you should be doing it every time we travel. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a few comments and always subscribe. Okay, today's maintenance day. I don't know about you guys, but if you have a wet bolt kit, you have to grease those wet bolts, and in my case I also have to grease several other spots on my rig, to include my road armor. Yeah, it also has a wet bolt in it. And using a regular handheld grease gun can be quite a pain in the butt. So I picked up this grease gun that is run by, well, an electric Ryobi device. That thing is a game changer. I love it. It don't have to sit there and force the grease in anymore, and you can simply grease up everything in a matter of minutes. Well, before I do any greasing, I like to clean everything up so I can get a good inspection on it and not get grease inside of my fittings. Only takes a minute. I won't go overboard. I just get all the excess grease off of it, hit it with a little bit of cleaning solution. It gives you time to look at all your welds, look at your rubber bushings in your road armor, and as I was saying earlier, makes it so much easier to just stick it on there and pull the trigger. Pop a little grease in there. And as you can see, it comes out at the top and the back side. Let you know everything is still freed up inside of there. Clean it up real quick. Good to go for another. I usually grease mine, or I try to grease them at least, for every long trip. In between, not really so much, but if I'm making a long trip over 500 miles or so, I'll throw a little pump in there just to make sure that everything stays lubricated. While we at it, might as well pretty everything up with some armor all on the tires to protect them. When I go to the inside, I put a couple Zerk fittings on the inside to make sure that I'm forced to go underneath there and inspect and lubricate everything up. I installed my wet bolt kit with one of the fittings, the one for my upper equalizer, on the inside, and I also did the outboard and the inboard springs, so that would force me to climb up under in here, up under the trailer, and do some inspections, preventative maintenance inspections. That gives me the opportunity to look at my shocks that I've installed, check all the hardware, make sure it's nice and tight, check the springs for cracks, all my welds and everything. So, you know, it makes it a little harder to do your lubrication of the wet bolts, but it does force you to get up underneath the trailer and just look everything over. Underbelly, just like on the outside. Want to clean everything up. You know, cleaning it up also just helps it look better. But more than anything else, you don't get any grease inside, or any dirt inside your grease fittings. Like I was saying, these little grease guns, there's a lot of different manufacturers. This one just has to be a Ryobi. Make life so much easier. Don't have to fight with a handheld. It's not nearly as dirty. Rechargeable batteries. It just revolutionized greasing up the rig, wet bolt kits, the fifth wheel hitch, everything.